really wasn't promoting the product. He brought the insurance agent in, and now he's going to bill us for about 2 hours of his time to.
Well, he
so we can listen to the insurance agent sells the product.
Generally, he was addressing the issue of how one change will affect labor negotiations.
No,
and benefit the town.
That's not what it was about at all. And my other point I want to make is I'm very concerned with the number of executive sessions we have. I am not a fan of executive sessions. It seems that we're having an executive session meeting almost every month. I know there was significant discussion on Monday, and it was determined that the executive session was not for collective bargaining discussions. It was simply to sell us another health insurance product.
That was not the case.
Yes, it was. At least that's my opinion. And of course, when I'm done, you can speak. So I'm not quite, and like I said, we had significant discussions about it. I'm not a fan of executive session. I think we should be a little bit more transparent. And I'd like to hear from the attorney specifically what the executive session issues should be for or what they should be about. Again, to come in and sell us a product, come in and have an insurance agent sell us a product, I don't believe it is an executive session issue. And that's not really the point. I think having this guy come in at $150 an hour to listen to a guy sell us a health insurance option is absurd. And I think Tom's point of the matter is all they're going to do is go to the union and discuss the health insurance option. I don't think we need him to do that. The insurance guy is the one who did all the talking. So I'm in agreement with Tom that we don't need this guy at $150 an hour, and I'm not a fan of having to pay people an hourly rate. I'm not quite sure they expedite their time in those situations. So I am in agreement with Tom that we don't need him to talk to the union about a second health insurance option when we have the health insurance expert doing it, who doesn't get paid.
I would like to say, Mark, that there was a lot of discussion about product, but there was also discussion about how that possible product could impact things. And what, I agree with Tom that maybe we should take a look and do some competitive bidding. But this man has already been hired for this year, and it's what, every 2 years or 3 years?
The town,
negotiation.
The contract comes up for whatever period the contract is.
I think is it 2 years or 3 years?
Whatever.
No,
you're talking two different things. The collective bargaining contract.
It's every 3 years.
It's up in December 30th.
So he's automatically hired. Don't we have to sign something?
No.
So he was hired. So I think we have 3 years when we can competitively bid this and maybe get somebody else. I also have a little reservation because you're just on the other side of the fence, Tom. And I really don't know what your relationship was with this man as a laborer. You're now in a different position. You are responsible, and you're trying to do it here and save money for the town board.
Michael was on this side, Tommy was on that side.
Well,
okay?
this is all I'm saying is that you're on the other side of the fence now with this, and I don't know what your relationship was with this man when you were negotiating. And I think we need to look at the competitive bidding piece. But there were clearly things at that meeting from my perspective that required executive session and that impacted on how it says right, and we read the book as well, anything that is going to, any information that's given that could impact the negotiation has to be done in executive session. And that's why we did executive session.
There was no negotiating or discussing anything.
We weren't negotiating, but what the information was could have impacted if there were union people present at the time, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, Phil, if there were union people present and we did not go into executive session, information from what was said in executive session could have given them ammunition to do something with their union group that would have impacted how the negotiations went. And that was why we went into executive session.
All right, but wait,
Let me just say one
Is
thing
that
quick.
correct, Bill? If the information is going to
You know, this
impact...
is
The issue,
I have a concern that it's already 10:15, and I really want to discuss this, but I'd like, can we do this in a workshop where we really, or have another meeting where we really
Let me-
can sit
let
and
me
hash
just
this
make
out?
One quick point, okay? I'm not trying to nail anybody for anything. What I looked at that bill, I'm looking at the town and where we can save money,
Yeah, I
okay?
hear that.
And the whole thing is that when these gentlemen did come in Monday, the fellow that was the insurance gentleman passed out leaflets that we all looked at when we were in executive session. And that thing had to do not only with the union, but it had to do with everybody at the town hall who was covered by insurance, okay? If anybody here at the town hall is covered by insurance, retirees, the people in the town hall or the highway.
Well, look,
okay?
it
I mean,
seems to
that's
be
the whole
there's
deal.
several issues that are all on the table at once, and it's already 10:15.
that's
There are
not fair.
questions about executive
that's
sessions,
not
there are
fair.
questions about the labor negotiator, and they're all good questions and good issues. And so I think if there's something to be decided tonight, let's decide it. But otherwise, let's table everything else and
And
really,
Tom-
really deal with these issues at our next workshop.
Tom said he was willing to table it to
Well,
the
I-
workshop,
If we
and
could
I would like to do
table it
that.
and go to the workshop, I'd like to bring up that we do look into other people that
That's
could
fine.
possibly come in and do it at a cheaper rate, but yet
Mhm.
also take into the
I think that's a
consideration of
reasonable
town's
thing to
interest,
discuss and
okay?
look into.
If we're gonna table it, that's fine, but remember, we passed a resolution where we've authorized Michael Richardson, Virginia, and the insurance agent to mention the health insurance option to the union.
It
get
wasn't
their
to
feedback.
mention it. It
Did
was
this-
not to mention it. It was to see if they would like to adopt it now, to make the change now, because making the change now, according to the information we were given,
Would say-
would save the town a lot of money.
Right.
And waiting until the labor negotiations come up in the fall, or even waiting until June, the situation is going to change, and we would not save the town as much money. So it was not to just present it for the union members to think about. It was to present it with the idea that they would, if they wanted to, they could agree to accept it, and that would save the town money.
And I imagine really you don't have the resolution here, right?
Well, it was just authorized to go and to present them. I don't have it in front of me.
The minutes from Monday night are already in your box.
Yes, I have
Just
them.
look at
I may have it.
Michael McGowan, the
Oh, here it is,
insurance.
here.
I think we need to table
You know what I'm
this.
saying?
I think
When
we
when
need
does
to
he plan to
table
get
this.
home? When does he plan to meet with you, Virginia?
We haven't set a time yet.
Okay.
To authorize the supervisor and the labor negotiator to seek a memorandum of agreement to look into new health plans for the town's eligible employees.
Right.
But it was with the understanding that if it was acceptable to the employees, that the change would be made now, which would save the town
Oh, that was agreed.
Well, that
a
was
certain
actually
amount
brought back to the
amount of
town.
money, which was
That would
actually
have to
quite a
go
lot.
back to the town folks to approve.
But what I'm saying is, can't we have Michael McGowan go in there and do his,
I
because
think-
he's selling it, and Michael Richardson isn't selling it, he's just, and then if we need Michael for negotiations, to have the highway department and the other people.
I
that
think
are
part of the
affected by it,
selling of the
you know?
health plan has to do with